Okay, so if we have any questions, this will be the time to, and I'll come to you so you could ask the question. So.
I'm wondering, besides demonstrations that you said were what the people could do, why aren't there more demonstrations, or is there a way to find out about the demonstrations? I keep in contact via Facebook with your organization and others, but what does one do to do more?
Well, I think signing up for all of these alerts and emails and taking action. I have to say, too, that I think the most important action that all of us need to take is preparation for the elections that are the next set of elections that are just around the corner in 2018. I mean, if we have divided government in this country and not one party rule, it could it's a game changer, and it will bring a lot of these harsh and I think illegal policies to a halt. Part of what will bring some of these policies to a halt too is just the sheer gall and overreaching of the current administration. This president argued in the federal courts in behalf of his ban on Muslims that the courts had no role in reviewing the decisions of the president when it comes to matters of immigration and travel and things of that sort. The court, not merely that the courts have to defer to the judgment of the president, but the courts have no role whatsoever. They should just step aside and let the president do what the president wants to do. That was the argument made by the federal government in the Korematsu case before the U.S. Supreme Court, when the court allowed Franklin Delano Roosevelt to round up 220,000 people of Japanese descent. And it was the argument made by President George Bush when he said that the government, that the courts had no role in overseeing the detaining of people in Guantanamo. And the court said, no, that is not true. So I hope this president says more and more of those kinds of things to the courts, because the more he says that, the more he indicates no understanding of our democracy in three branches of government in which the courts have a role in overseeing whether or not constitutional rights are defended and respected or violated.
I just want to add that there are so many tools that we have in our hands to express our lack of support for some of the measures. For instance, contact your elected officials. They do listen. Contact by phone, email, letters, they do listen. If they receive 100 phone calls one day, I'm telling you for sure they will listen to what their constituents have to say. Second one, write letters and op-eds to the media. The media is eager to get information and news, and they love stories when people are so upset about something, so they will publish that. Third one, identify allies and create coalitions. One of the most powerful allies in the comprehensive immigration reform battle was the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And they were so involved and so in favor of an immigration reform that they brought a lot of power to all the other immigration groups. And why they were? Because they need manpower for business. And so sometimes it's, think a little bit out of the box and see what other groups are outside there that can help you to promote your issue. I always said people don't have a driver license in Florida because you cannot get a driver license if you're undocumented. But just think about the insurance companies. If you have no driver license, you cannot have an insurance. So how much business is the insurance company and the insurance company are losing because of that? It wouldn't be smart to get them on board to support, a move in order to promote driver license regardless of immigration status. But there are so many opportunities of other groups out there who we can enlist in favor of our causes that we need to enlarge that coalition in order to be able to have more pressure and more power.
And money always talks. So if you hit the pocketbook, you get people's attention, right? So As an educator, I'm going to give you 3 things that you have to do. 1, awesome organizations. Join them. They need you. They work on volunteer basis. A lot of people think, oh, organizations, and they think ill of them. And the main reason when I ask people why is they say, no, because they're top-heavy. And I let them know they become top-heavy because you allow them to. Every organization has bylaws, and they have a way to govern itself. Run for office in those. Become a leader in your organizations, and change whatever you see that is wrong. Quitting is not an option, because when you quit, then the same people stay in place. So if you don't like what's going on, change the people, right? So look for the organizations, and collaboration is needed and today we need to unite as organizations. Number 2, run for office. We need more Hispanics, more women to run for office. But number 2 is very hard, because today the top 1% donates a lot of money. But there's nothing more than we learned from this election about the grassroots, because they supported 2 candidates. The one that's president now, because they didn't want him. Big money invested in somebody else. Second time, they get beat, because 4 years ago, they lost again a second time to our president, right? But it goes to show you what grassroots fundraising does. So please make sure that if you can run for office yourself, identify people in your community who will do a good job for your community, and make sure that you invest and volunteer, knocking on doors, making phone calls, and making sure people go out to vote. So those are the 3 asks that I'm going to ask from you. Okay, so anyone else?
I wanted to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
And I guess you covered it already. And it was about, we need to start today getting those residents to become citizens, and those that are not registered to vote, to register to vote and go vote. If they vote, they can change those politicians that are not listening to the community, that they are there just to do their own politics, their self-interest. We need to change those people. And the only way is the democratic way, going to vote them out.
And look at voting records. Not what they say. If they're in Congress, they have a voting record. If they're in Tallahassee, they have a voting record. Please look at the way they vote, because many of them will tell you to your face how healthcare is so important for you, how retirement and Social Security and Medicare is so important to you, but when you look at their voting records, they vote totally opposite. So make sure you look at those voting records. Anyone else with a question?
Just want to mention briefly what initiative we just launched last month in DC. We brought together a group of about 50 Latino leaders and Jewish leaders who had very limited knowledge of each other before, but we decided let's bring them together to discuss the common issues we care about: hate crime, discrimination, some issues in foreign policy, immigration reform. So we created that Latino Jewish Leadership Council, and once we agree on the goals and what we will be working for, the second step was last week we went together to Capitol Hill to meet with congressmen to let them know that, hello, we are here. This is our agenda. This is issues that we care about, and we both want to promote further. Congressmen are used to meet with Jews and used to meet with Latinos, but they never met with this kind of group or coming together. So that's the kind of thing that we need to start doing more and more. Build coalitions, identify partners, and come together. And there are many issues that we do not agree with. And the other example, we also launched the Jewish Muslim Coalition 3 months ago. It's the first time ever a group of Jewish leaders and Muslim leaders coming together, also to work against prejudices, discrimination, hate crime. And even though there are plenty of issues we do not agree with, on those issues we remain together, and we need to make sure that the society see that we are standing together.
Good. Anyone else has a question? Any questions?